The 20-year project was born as a result of conversations with many of our members last spring. The questions were these: what does the fair of the future look like? And are we preparing for that fair, or are we preparing our future fair to look just like the one we have today? We invited our convention attendees to pre-register for any of 6 different 20-year project sessions, then to come prepared for some intensive brainstorming. Each group was tasked with leaving the meeting with at least 5 key points. So sit back and watch what this 20-year project group dreamed up.
Hi, I'm Jeff Thane with the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. I'm representing our agricultural group as we sat down and looked at what will ag look like in 20 years. And frankly, obviously, it's a hard topic to kind of narrow down on. There's a tremendous amount of pieces to ag. We've talked about that a lot over the years and such. And so we tried to look back and think about how our fairs have evolved, and then try to open our eyes to what things are going to look like in the future. One of which, and we tried to narrow it down to 5 things, one of which is the farm to fork concept. In the last 5 years, we've probably put a tremendous amount of effort into that on the consumer education component. We think that's just going to evolve and become a bigger deal. The farm to fork terminology may need to be expanded. We may need to do a better job of explaining that maybe a farm isn't what we all have in our minds as the traditional farm. Maybe we need to focus more on the hobby farming, on the urban farming as well, to kind of help sell that message just a little bit better and make sure that they know that any of those folks that are producing food out there, that's important and how that is accomplished. And so we think that's important. Number 2 is technology and biotechnology, biosecurity. We're doing a video on a phone today. We know that when our patrons come into the grounds, that's a huge part of their life is technology and that and advancement. And so how can we link that? How can we do a better job of sharing our message of ag with that patron with the use of technology in a lot of different ways? Biotechnology is going to continue to be important. We're really concerned about biosecurity and the ability for us to have animals on our grounds is a huge concern. And so we want to make sure that we take care of things, that we're doing a good job from our standpoint, from the biosecurity point of view. The other part of that is we want to have animals. We know that we're going to have animal activists involved and more involved as we go forward. We need to make sure that we do a great job of telling our story of what's really happening with those animals. And we need to be mindful that things are being done correctly when those exhibitors do come on the grounds. We want to make sure that the exhibitors, especially the youth exhibitors, are very, very involved in telling that message. And so it may not be that they're just at their pen with their animal. It may be that they're more actively involved in that patron experience of that exhibitor having an interaction with the patron and doing a good job of telling that story and representing what our fairs are about and what agriculture is about. Lastly, one of the things that we really want to focus on as well is we want to make sure that those exhibitors have a good time when they come to the grounds. We know that there's a lot of costs, all of those things that go into it. Sometimes our fairs aren't the easiest places for our livestock exhibitors to get to. So we want to make sure that we have a focus on that. And when they enter the grounds and while they're there, that they enjoy it, and then that carries on and they have a good message to share with our patrons. So it's a holistic look, interaction with our exhibitors and patrons, and then telling that story of what may be happening in the ring or in our facilities to what ends up from that farm, if you will, to their fork later on as they leave the ground. So that's a little bit of what we talked about going forward, and appreciate your time.